Hey folks, Quill18 here, bringing you, by popular request, a little bit more Dwarf Fortress. I've changed the resolution a little bit, changed some of the fonts I used. Actually, it's an entirely new tile set, so hopefully it'll be a little bit easier for people to follow on the screen at this point. If I remember, I will put all the links to this in the description box. If I forget, what you want to look up is something called the Dwarf Fortress Lazy Noob Pack. It'll come with pretty much everything I'm going to be running with here. So, yeah, you'll have a good-looking game. The reason the trees look brown like this is because I've already designated them to be chopped and these plants to be picked. I've actually set up quite a few things right off the bat here just to try to keep things moving at the start at a healthy clip. I'll pause it in just a moment after I explain what's going on. So, we have our dwarfs again. We are trying another Embark. Oh, yes, I forgot to say, the reason I'm not continuing the last game is because the reason I stopped is due to a number of technical issues. The version of Dwarf Fortress I was using was just sort of brand new. It was the 2010 edition. It was brand new, lots of glitches, lots of crashes, and that ended up kind of driving me nuts. And I was having some issues doing some recording as well as the fortress got bigger and my frame rate dropped to the shitter. So hopefully I've got a slightly better setup this time. We shall see. We shall hope. I just realized that the screen is not quite the right size here for the video. You guys are getting... Let's try that. There we go. That should be a little bit better. Yeah, so I ended up just sort of... I played it for a while, and then it was miserable, so I didn't post it, and we're starting a new one. And now I've played the game a bunch more, so hopefully I know what I'm doing a little bit more than before. So, this is our starting area, and I believe... I can't remember the starting conditions that I set, but this may be slightly more aggressive at the start. I'm not sure. We will find out what we see. And so there's our initial dwarves. I'll tell you their names. This is based on the people who commented on the last Dwarf Fortress one. I'm going to go through the list of comments on those videos to name dwarfs. And so I just went down the list that I saw based on the first video, first of all. We got Tommy Boy, who's a miner, Kashi, 1988, who's a carpenter, Tot, who's a mason, Wraith1, who's is listed as a bookkeeper, but I believe his main profession will also be a miner. I'm not sure. Either that or a lumberjack. I think, yes, he's a miner. We've got Jay Jones, who was voted in as the expedition leader. I'm a little curious to see what his actual skills are. He's a stone crafter, appraiser, negotiator, judge of intent, leader. Yeah, so he has sort of those social skills, which are going to be really good for a leadership position. I believe he'll also be our broker. Yeah, because he's an appraiser and negotiator, all that. So he's going to be wheeling and dealing. We've got WSW Unwanted, who is a farmer, and 4-to-win-12, who is listed as a manager, and actually he's about to go fishing. What are his skills? He's a fisher dwarf and a brewer and also a siege engineer. Which is kind of interesting. That's sort of a long-term thing. Short-term, early on, he's going to be doing fishing, getting us some food that way, hopefully picking up some shellfish too, because shells are really good for crafting. And he'll be making our beer. By the way, if you remember the last video, the problems I was having with barrels and beer, I eventually figured out what the heck was going on. Food also gets stored in barrels, so every time I would make a barrel, some dwarf would come over and stick some food in there from like picking plants and stuff like that. So that is what was going on, and now that you know, now that I know, I have no troubles dealing with that at this point, because it's like, oh, confusion over, I understand the food's going in there. So there's a couple of strategies you can use to deal with that. And I won't really go into details, but basically, well, you can limit your stockpiles just so you just don't load up on tons and tons of food. You can also start off with more barrels by doing what I did and buying a lot of like single stacks of food, and the food will come with you in a barrel. So basically I got tons of barrels with one item of food in there, so I'm going to start off with a lot of extra barrels. Now what I've done is I have started off and planned out my dig. I haven't unpaused yet from the initial Embark. This is how it started, but I have designated some trees. I've also designated some stairs down. Rather than digging to the side of the mountain, we're going to dig straight down this time around, and the nice thing about it, it'll give us a nice big area. We are just going to wall this whole sucker in later. Probably something like this, and I think I'm going to grab the big lake. So wall in like this big, huge wall on top. Very, very defensible. And then if we go down, you'll see this sideways penis. These are actually planning for my mines. You see I've got a 3x3 area for my stairs here. I want to make sure there's no bottlenecks for my dwarves. And these are going to be farming areas. And what I'm going to do, and you may, whoops, A little sneak peek there. You may see right here, this is going to be channeled down. So my miners are going to come and dig this straight down. So there's going to be a hole from the top leading down to right here. And I'm going to designate this as a pond. And someone is going to take a bucket and start filling this hole with water. And it's going to splash down here and spread around and irrigate all my tiles. And we will have a farm without having to set up anything very complicated. It's going to be super awesome. So set up a farming level here, and then one layer down where I don't have to deal with these lakes is going to be my main production floor. Or my sort of mini fortress all-encompassed. My initial fortress setup, everything will exist on one floor here. So, and these will be filled in later. I haven't connected everything because I want the miners to work in the direction that I want them to work. So they're going to dig out a little bit. This is going to be a workshop area here, here, here. Then I'm going to connect this bit here, which will connect a few more workshop spaces, plus big stockpile areas. So we're going to start moving food and furniture down here. And then once that's dug out to my satisfaction, I will reconnect this. And here are going to be more stockpile areas for a little bit later when I need it. And then I'll connect over here. This is going to be a big dining room. This is going to be a dormitory. And these little stripes here are going to be very, very small, tiny offices for my, my bookkeeper and my manager. And in fact, I just realized I made these slightly bigger than they need to be. That will be enough because it gives you, this square here will have a table, this square here will have a chair, this square here will have a door, and that's all it is. It's a little more than a janitor's closet, but it's very, very functional for now. And I will show you the rest of the fortress plans later when we get there. So without further ado, let's unpause this sucker. Bam! Everyone go to work. Yes, there we go. You'll notice there's a lot of dogs running around. I went with 1 male dog and 5 female dogs. And the plan there is that gives us a good breeding stock. The male should impregnate lots of females, give us lots of kids, so we're going to have an infinite supply of war dogs or whatever we want. Plus, and I'm sorry to all you dog lovers out there, plenty of meat. Now, these are untrained dogs. These are just generic, tame dogs. And one thing I will do fairly early on is I will build a kennel and tell one of my dwarfs to train them into war dogs or hunting dogs or whatever I want. You can start with those already trained, but they're a lot more expensive, and there's no real reason not to just train your own dogs. You save a lot of money that way, or a lot of your starting Embark points. And yeah, the other thing that's nice is the dogs will start off by, it will default, what the fuck, a giant rat has already come over and stolen some of my shit. Son of a bitch, I have a cat, hopefully he can hunt those rats down. That fucking sucks. Clearly, we're going to have to move our food down ASAP. The only animals we know about are deer, but that's because I think the rats are stealthy. They're like thieves. And we're just going to have to, yeah, we'll get our food moved down as soon as possible. Now, one thing, I just pause it for a sec, you can see is we are digging this out super, super fast. And the reason is we are actually in soil here. This is loam. So just pure soil, very, very fast to dig through. It is not rocky, and in fact doesn't leave any rocks behind. So aesthetically it's very pleasing. Although I've sort of gotten over my issues with rocks, I'm not as upset with eliminating them anymore. But it's very, very nice to start off, if you can, in sort of soil, because initially you don't have a lot of miners. You got to get things started up as quick as possible, and this allows you to do that super fast. Look at these suckers go. Super awesome. So we're going to start off with some workshops. And we're going to start off with the carpenter's workshop, which is absolutely critical. It's sort of the base of your industry. And of course, I don't have any stone right now, so I have to build my buildings out of logs. But that's okay. I'm in a very, very highly forested area, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. If I wasn't so forested, I would start digging down into the rock right away and grab some of that to build stuff. So we've got a rock, that carpenter's shop there. A mason shop is another critical thing. But notice there's a little dark square here. You may not be able to see, but the dark squares are impassable areas. So if I put this here, no one will be able to actually access this workshop. And actually, there's one on the other side too, so I can't even do it over there. So I will have to dig out a different space right down here. Maybe we'll do something like this. If I were to fit another one in here, you know what? Actually, better yet, we're just going to make sure that we've got a shop built this way with a door there. I mean, they don't even need these doors. I could just open it up, but I just like the way it looks, and that should work out much, much better. hopefully the miners will come and dig that out very, very shortly. Other early things we might want is a still or something like that, but I'm going to be okay with booze for right now, and there's no rush to do it. All I'm going to be doing, all it's going to do is force me to build like uber barrels right off the bat like the last game, so I'm not going to worry about it quite so much. There you go, dig that out, because we're going to want to make some shop pretty quick. My carpenter shop is done, so my first priority is I'm going to build a handful of beds. You know what, 3 beds is going to be enough to start, because we're going to want them for our bedroom pretty early. And build my mason's workshop. Oh no, I still fucked that up, didn't I? It's at the top. It's the bottom I need open. So you know what, I'm just going to expand this like so. And that'll be okay. Doesn't really matter. There we go. Okay, so that's good. In fact, I guess I can just, you know what, let's just open all this stuff up. My miners, they're mining quickly enough that it's not really going to be a concern. I'm going to leave the stockpiles here closed off, and I'm not going to start them digging down yet because I want to make sure they clear at the top first. But that's pretty good, and we are going to want our stockpiles. Actually, let me open up both these stockpiles here. We're going to want these pretty accessible pretty quickly. Oh, what the hell? Let's just do that, because clearly we got some thievery problems with those fucking critters. So we're going to want that taken care of as soon as humanly possible, or dwarfenly possible. Now, this is the center of my thing, so the... Yeah, okay, it's got a channel there. It's very hard to see, but I got a channel right there. So I'm going to hit I to designate a zone. I'm going to hit enter, and I can drag out a square again, but it's just going to be a 1x1 square. I hit enter again to place it, and then hit P to designate a pit/pond. And then, so that's pit/pond, and then here, set pit pond information. And I'm going to tell it defaults to being a pit. I'm going to switch it to being a pond. And very shortly, one dwarf that's not doing anything should grab a bucket. What's everyone doing? Yeah, fill pond. Tot is currently going to be doing that. And yeah, he's got a bucket there. And it looks like he grabbed some water from down there, but hopefully we're going to have a dwarf going back and forth from the water here and filling it. You can see the water has dropped down. It's just a 1 deep. The numbers here is the depth of the water. It goes up to 7 units deep. This tile set shows me the number, which is awfully useful in my opinion. But yeah, there we go. Dwarf going back and forth, filling the pond up. They keep swapping off jobs. And then like, oh, I guess I'll finish it. And he should be able to cap that off very, very nicely for me. Take him a little bit to fill, and then we're going to do the one just above. Dig H right there, which I'll channel out now. All right, so let's check to see how. Oops, digging canceled. Damp stone located where? Oh, damp stone, really? Now that might be fine. That's just the bottom of the lake, so it's sort of seeped through and made it damp. It's probably okay, but it's conceivable that there's actually another pool of water right underneath here. I don't think that's going to be the case, but your dwarves will automatically stop digging in damp stone, and actually the game pauses every time it happens too, so you're going to have to unpause it. Oh, there's another one. And after they're done tagging all these, we should know the outline of it pretty soon. How's our pool going? It's got a couple, it looks like just one more square needs to be muddied. Oh, no, okay, I'm reading that wrong. Several more squares still need to be muddied, so keep at it, guys. Dig. Any other workshops we want, like ASAP? You know what? Let's build a mechanics workshop, because we're going to need some traps. Again, I'm paying attention to that dark square, making sure I don't put it on the wrong side, so I'm going to put it right over here. Excellent. Yeah, damp stone located. Yeah, that's okay. Just keep going, guys. You're doing fine. Some more damp stone. That's all right. Yeah, so you can see blinking in blue. Now you see these, they're edged around the water source. So if I were to dig through there, I would get flooded. And it's possible there's more of that there, but I'm willing to bet there isn't. Still, I don't know. I may leave it. I may not risk it. It started raining, apparently. I'm in a rainy area. Not sure how much of an effect that's actually going to have on me. It is affecting the water flow in this river, in this pond here. Probably hurts my frame rates a little, but we'll deal with that when we deal with that. So the water's actually spilling out into the hallway, which is fine. I should have put a door there, though, just to make sure that it was properly covering all the tiles I want it to cover. And not just going nuts. Hey, there's a frog in there.